young guys prepared to prepare. I'm getting ready to get ready.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have to watch all of these things first before I even try it once. Not true. I have to know the perfect pitch before I get out there and knock a door. Not true. Bro, go out and stumble fast and then get to the next one and then get to the next one and then get to the next one. The more swings of the bat you can take at the start, the better it's going to be for you.
Welcome to Goat Mountain. I'm your host, Isaac Johnson.
I went to Goat Mountain, Goat Mountain, Goat Mountain, Goat Mountain, Goat Mountain, Goat Mountain.
Welcome to Goat Mountain. I'm your host, Isaac Johnson. Today is the first ever episode, and we have none other than the GOAT, Ashton Buswell, as you all should know him. One of the best to ever do it, if not the best, still doing it. We talked about everything. We laughed a little. We cried a little. We talked about his adventures on becoming the GOAT. So please grab your notebooks, grab your pens. You guys are going to want to take notes during this one. He dropped some gems. So make sure you listen up. Let's go. How you been, man?
Good, dude. Yeah, things good. Life's good. Family's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's new?
Life's good. The newest thing, we kind of talked a little bit about in our pregame for this. My daughter ran nationals for track. Little 10-year-old girl. We kind of accidentally found out she was really, really fast. We knew she was fast.
Yeah.
Because she's on the soccer team, but she's been a soccer player, soccer player, number one player on her team, number one team, right, for the club that she's on. And my brother thought we had an extra weekend and they had a track meet. So why don't you throw her in? And she won the 100, she won the 200, and all these teams wanted her to be on their 4x100 team. Anyway, she qualified for nationals and didn't make the individual final. She was the 13th fastest in the semis.
Yes.
But her 4x100 team made the final and got 6th.
So cool.
Yeah.
And now she's going to get into track.
And now she's going to get into track. Yeah, that may be her new thing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Still going to do soccer.
Yeah, she's still doing soccer. She was like so happy to go back to soccer, like all her friends and you know what I mean, all that stuff. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. What about in the solar game? What's new? I know NEM 3 happened a little bit ago, but what you travel around the country? What's the landscape looking like?
Solar is such a solid place. Solar in general. We both work for Legacy. Mm-hmm. Legacy's in a crazy solid place. Like financials, business, operations, like all of it. But solar in general is in a good place. I think we got to make sure that people are doing things honestly and ethically across the board, no matter what, or else it could mess up some things in different states, right? And if one state thinks solar is bad in one area, then it could roll over to other ones. But right now, I think overall, solar is in a great spot. California is in a great spot. I'm happy that people came in or were here and then left because the utility companies just went up again and batteries are phenomenal. And we're right back to where we were before.
Our numbers are getting there.
Yeah, right before we...
Admittedly, we had to get a little bit better at selling as a whole. You know what I mean? Yeah. There were a couple of people that were out there that were just giving away solar. That was, I'll cut your bill in half, and that was their whole sale. So people definitely had to learn. It worked. Yeah. It worked for a long time.
Yeah.
And so people definitely had to sharpen the sales skills, and now we're back right on track.
Yeah, right back up where we were.
How many deals was it last week in Valor?
I don't know.
Something
in Valor, Legacy did 748 last week.
I saw your post. $11 million.
$11 million in commissions last week.
$11 million in commissions in 1 week.
Solar is
ask about
killer
it.
Sales.
Yeah. Cool. So let's just. I know we could sit here all day and talk about your story. I've talked about it a little bit before. We've had this meeting, but let's start in you started sales in college, like 2005. You said, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit and your sales journey. How'd you get here?
So I started doing door-to-door sales in 2005. I only lost my junior year in wrestling once against a guy, a good friend of mine, and his dad after I served a mission for my church and I came home and I was working at a steel plant, just kind of grunt work. As like a 21-year-old kid. And his dad was like the state wrestling coach for freestyle and Greco-Roman. He said, "Hey, Ashton, Brandon's doing this door-to-door sales. You should do it. You would be awesome at it." I was like, "I don't know anything about sales. I know nothing about sales. It's never crossed my mind that I would ever be a salesman in my whole life."
Yeah.
My dad's been a business development guy. Turns out that's a lot of sales stuff. But anyway, he was like, "You don't need to know a whole lot. You just need to know how to work hard." And I was like, "Well, I know how to work hard." He's like, "Yeah, you should do it." So his son came home from the then summer program, met with him. And I was like, "All right, dude." He said, "Dude, you can make $10,000 in a summer, maybe $20,000. And if then you don't have to." I was like, "If I can make $20,000 and not have to worry about a job and just focus on grades and girls in college, I'm down." So I went out there and worked my guts out. I made double what I made, 40,000 instead of 20,000.
Your first summer.
My first summer.
What was this selling?
Selling satellites. So way back in 2005,
Yep.
when a lot of people, when you were probably in elementary school or maybe not even in elementary school, I don't know.
I was 14.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
A freshman.
Dude, it's crazy. I'll go to offices all the time. And I legit had maybe like 2 weeks ago, I went to an office where I said, who's the youngest person in here? When were you born? They were born in 2005. When were you born in 2005? In November. Dude, I started selling before you were born.
That's so crazy.
Makes me feel old. I consider myself still a young man and try to keep fit like a young man, but kind of crazy. But anyway, I started knocking satellites 2005. Did really well. Became a regional manager. And then that company kind of was going under. Then I transferred over to alarms, started selling alarms.
When was that?
2008.
Okay.
Did really well. My first year, I got 250 alarm sales, which is a really good number. Yeah. But no one was talking about it because our co-founder, Luke Toon, he got 552.
Luke.
And so no one cared that I was doing good. They just were focused on him. But anyway, so I did alarms for 3 years, and then I got out of door-to-door sales. I was like done. I didn't want to do it anymore. My brother
burned out.
Yeah, kind of. My brother was just burned out. I didn't realize that the satellite sale and the alarm sale were kind of a little bit of an argument sale. Like my TV's better than your TV. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Or I mean, your neighborhood's fine, but right over there, there's some bad stuff going on. No, there's not. Yes, it is. Right. And so it kind of became like a little bit of an argument. And I was just like, I don't need to argue with people to get the sales. So I got out. My brother convinced me that I should be an entrepreneur with him because door-to-door sales is 100% commission. Mm-hmm. So you survive on if you make sales or not. Yeah. Right. So he's like, "You're already doing it. If you're already doing it, might as well come and do it with me. We can go build up some businesses." So I moved to San Diego, started a carpet recycling business. Probably never heard of that. No. And a cement powder business. Probably also never heard of that. And we were going to start like a paycheck, like cash, payday cash kind of payday loan sort of thing. We didn't ever start that one, but we did do the other two and became a stat. Most businesses fail within the first year. Carpet recycling failed. Cement powder went for a few years, but anyway, then I got roped back. I did that for a year. Then I did LED lighting for a year. Then I did business networking for a year. And then Luke Toon called me and said, "Hey man, thinking about leaving alarms and going to solar. I trust you more than anybody I know. I want to have you come and check it out." So he flew me up to corporate, and wasn't legacy at the time. Fell in love with solar. Fell in love with the idea, and then did that for 8 months, and then legacy started 8 months later, and I've been at legacy ever since. And I've loved it. So that was a long.
No, you're good. You were
so long story.
As far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, which I never am, but you were employee number one.
Employee number one at Legacy.
For Legacy Power.
Yeah.
And I remember when we talked before, you said you weren't necessarily the sales rabbit that you're known as today until, was it Luke asked you, told you that he needed you to be?
Well, he didn't ever say that. So the year before I did solar, I was working at a business networking group, and everyone loved me. And I loved everyone. So I was like, dude, this is going to be easy. I'll just switch over to this. I'll talk to all the people that already love me. and they'll all buy from me. I'll make $1 million just because I have all these relationships. And so I was spending all of my time networking and not knocking on doors. So what Luke asked me to do, he's like, dude, you're really good at knocking on doors. Can you please, like, instead of going 90% networking and 10% knocking doors, maybe go like 60-40 or 50-50. So I did. I went 50-50 knocking doors compared to networking, and my numbers went way up. And then I was like, all right, well maybe, and then I just kind of kept ratcheting down the networking and more up with the door knocking. I got to a point of like 90-10 and was crushing it. And now I still do networking, but not like maybe a couple percent of my time is networking, because I think there's business to be had with other real estate agents and other people. But I learned that if you're going to go talk to somebody about their house, you might as well go to their house to talk to them about their house instead of going to a meeting and say, tell me about your house. Oh, and then let's go to your house. Yeah, I might as well just go to the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I did have, what happened was no one in our company before when we sold alarms and satellites, Luke was the rabbit. And it's always important to have somebody that you want to be like, or that's like pulling everybody up, like, all right, if he can do 10 in a day, then I can do 5. Right. And if you're a leader or a manager in an office, your team's only going to do half of what you do. Yeah. Right. If that.
What's that? Law of the lid, right?
Yeah. So if they see you struggling to do 2, they're not going to do 3. You know what I mean? And you'll have some exceptions. You'd be an exception. If your leaders aren't doing it, you would pull through and you'd figure out a way to do more than them. Yeah. Right? Because you believed you could. But anyway, in Legacy, I saw that we didn't have a rabbit. And in 2015, I decided, you know what? I need to be the rabbit. From July 1st to December 31st, I'm going to get 100 installs. No one had ever done that. That was like way off the radar. And I was like, somebody needs to be the rabbit. It's never been me. I've been good, but I needed to learn how to be the rabbit. So I went ahead and became the rabbit. And then just did 100 installs a year or more every year, 5 years in a row. Boom, 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 boom. And now I've got almost 1,000 installed customers that give me referrals all the time. I'll probably do 60 installs a year for the rest of my life.
Yeah, right.
Because I have 1,000 people that are saving a bunch of money or doing good for the world and all those things, that they'll keep giving me referrals. So
yeah. What percentage would you say of your deals are referrals at this point?
At this point?
Yeah.
Over 90%.
Yeah. That's the goal, man.
That's the goal. That's the fun money.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. To go into a guy's house and say, hey, we don't have time to research this, but we trust Mike. And Mike told us that we should go with you. So what do we need to do to get this going? And then I still pause and I'll go through the whole process with them, because I want them to know that I'm not just there to make money. Yeah. Right. And I want them to know when they refer me to other people that their friends are going to they're going to get the whole gamut too. They're going to get taken care of, not just like come in and just be a transaction based, And so it probably takes longer sometimes than they would hope, but it works out for my benefit, because then they refer me and they know their friends will get it and all those things. So, but that's fun money. Walk in, somebody says, I want your stuff within 10 minutes. Yeah. You walk away $6,000 richer. That's a good day.
That is a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did your training that you did not too long ago, and your referral training is, if you haven't seen Ashton's referral training, buy it, get it. Yeah. Talk to him.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. It is worth it. Yeah. One thing I brought it up earlier, we've never really talked about, who are your mentors when you first started out?
Ooh, good question. My biggest mentor is my dad. Like, without a doubt. My dad is the wealthiest person that I know. And his wealth isn't in dollars, but in relationships. And I want to be like my dad. I was just with my brothers. I also want to be like my brothers. We're a lot like our dad. We all want to be like our dad. And so my biggest mentor is my dad. So I'll go to my dad and ask my dad questions about all kinds of things all the time. And he's really big about relationships. In sales, there was a guy, his name was Brandon Grover, that was a co-owner of the very first company that I started in. And then he also did pest control things. There may be some times where you've heard some things that I recorded that when I first started, I was gobbling up everything that I could. I was getting my hands on any bit of training that I could. And I found a DVD. That's how old I am. It wasn't online. It wasn't YouTube. It was whatever. It was just DVDs. I found a DVD of Brandon selling pest control. And I respected him. He was a man of his word. He had integrity. He was a kind of guy that I would like to sell like and live like. And I watched all of his pest control training. And again, I was selling satellites. I've never sold pest control. 0 time. I've sold 0 pest control accounts. But I wanted to learn from people that had integrity. And he was one of those guys. So I learned from him. And I've thought about it. I don't know that I have a ton of like people that I would call, this guy is like somebody that I consider a big mentor of mine. Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually a hole in my arsenal. I really think I should have more mentors, but I kind of have, with 3 brothers and a dad, I have 4 really strong, solid mentors within my family. And not everybody gets that. Not everybody
it's worked
has
out.
that. It's worked out. Yeah, it's worked out.
It has worked out.
But those are my biggest mentors.
Where do you fall in your brothers? Are you oldest, youngest, middle?
I'm in the middle. There's 8 kids in my family.
Oh.
The first 5 of us are really close in age. So it goes boy, girl, boy, 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 girl, girl, girl. So 4 boys, 4 girls. But the first 5 of us, we're within like 5.5, 6 years of each other.
Okay.
So that we're all crazy. And we're actually really tight with all of our siblings. But so our brothers were really close in age. My little brother just turned 40. I'm 41. My brother older than me is 42 and then 45. Right. So like we're all really close in age and live life, in similar ways because we're pretty close to the same age. But yeah,
that's cool.
One of the things I'll attribute, you didn't ask this question, but I'll tell you, one of the things that I can attribute my success in life, a lot of my grittiness, a lot of my hustle is those first 5 siblings being really, really tough. We were all competitive. We were all into sports. Sometimes we had to fight for food. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had each other and we had enough. We always had enough. I never thought we don't have enough. So I was super grateful to my parents for that. But my oldest brother was crazy competitive and really talented. My oldest sister could beat us all up. She was like super tough, man. She went to college for volleyball. She walked on later at a different college for soccer. She really, if we wouldn't have moved, she may have played internationally in soccer. Like she was so tough. And she legit pinned me in wrestling one time. I wrestled, I was a national champion in college, junior college, and the year before or 2 years before, she legit pinned me. Now she only beat me once, but she tells everybody she's done it. Anyway, so she was super tough. The brother just older than me was about the same size as my oldest brother. Then there was me, then there was my little brother. And my little brother was a little skinnier build. And so everybody was like super soft and nice to my little brother. No one gave me any kind of grace because I was like a bigger build, like my brother just older than me. Mm-hmm. And I was competitive and I was good. So I had to fight for survival in any game that we played, in any sport that we played. And there was a study, ESPN or Sports Illustrated, one of those did a study about like people that had older siblings, but a lot of younger siblings became really, really exceptional because they had older people to kind of pull them forward, Anyway, so I attribute a lot of my success to being pushed as a kid and as an adult by the 5 of us siblings, Yeah.
I have 3 brothers myself, and it's very similar. So there's 2 older than me and then 1 younger.
Yeah, sweet.
And Nathaniel is the baby, and no one, everyone babied him.
So nice to him.
And so nice to him. But yeah, I was the competitive sports one and so yeah, I had to grind to get attention and also,
yeah,
and prove that I was more athletic than my older brothers and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
We're all still competitive. You know what I mean? We have our Johnson boys chat and we drive each other. It gets intense. Yeah, some stuff I can't say on here. And yeah, but my little brother, he'll tell you, we're a big reason. He's very successful now, and we paved the way for him. And my older brothers paved the way for me. So
for sure,
definitely makes sense.
Yeah, super grateful to all my brothers. My oldest brother, I wrestled in high school, college, I qualified to wrestle for the United States of America when I was 15. So I represented the United States. And my oldest brother was like, dude, older brother rule, I'll always be better than you in wrestling. Just because he's older. I'm like, that's not how it works, man. But anyway.
I subscribe to that.
He still thinks he can. He still
yeah.
thinks he can. I don't think he can.
That's fine. Hey, we'll get a cage.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see how it happens.
Cool. So throughout your journey, because, to get to the top of Goat Mountain is not smooth. If a mountain was smooth, we wouldn't be able to climb it, right? So what are some big challenges that you faced along the way? So that stick out to you?
So the biggest challenge, the most effective people in the world are consistent at whatever it is that they do. But it can be monotonous. It can be boring. It can be like drudgery, like I gotta do this again. Mm-hmm. Here it goes again, right? The best sales guys I know say the exact same thing in their closes, and they make it sound like it's fresh. Mm-hmm. They've never said it before. And so the hardest part of becoming at the top of your game in any industry, in any aspect of life, is that you have to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? And not lose the enthusiasm to continue to do it.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge, there hasn't been like I broke my leg and then I had to go do this thing, or, I had any kind of separation with my wife or a kid or anything like that. And knock on wood, any of that stuff happens, right? So it hasn't been like this one moment in time that sparked all of it. But I did make a decision to be the rabbit in one moment in time, and did make a decision that this is something that I wanted to go get after. And I knew that wasn't just a one-time event. That was like I was making a commitment for a really long time. So the biggest challenge in any aspect of life is the consistency. If you want to be healthy, you got to consistently work out. You got to consistently eat properly, right? When a cake comes to the table, sometimes you got to say no. When friends are bringing candy and throwing candy out, sometimes you just got to say no. Everybody's drinking soda, you got to drink water. Consistently doing that, being intentional about it and then consistently doing it over and over and over again that's how Kobe became the best. That's how Michael Jordan became the best, right? All these guys that people would consider the best. I don't know. I haven't fact checked. And me and Tom Brady aren't friends, but somebody told me that dude went to bed at 9 p.m. like every night for years.
I think that's true. Yeah.
And that's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
When you're in your prime of your 20s and your 30s, and even just go hang out. Like most people are hanging out till like 10, but he's sleeping by 9.
Yeah.
So that he could get his brain could be sharp. Mm-hmm. So that he could
wake up early.
Wake up early, get tons of crap done. But that's the sacrifice that he made. Again, I haven't fact checked it. I haven't asked him, but I've heard it from more than one person.
Is that true, Tom?
Tom, is that true? Did you really go to sleep at 9?
Jamie, look that up.
Can somebody check this out? So that's him doing something that's a challenge over and over and over again. It may not appear like that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
But doing that for years.
Yeah.
Dude, it paid off.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
He was always sharp. He was always like mentally in the game. His body was always healthy. Mm-hmm. And sleep is something that a lot of people miss because they think, I got to grind this extra thing. And he was like, no, sleep's actually really important. So I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the biggest challenge that I've faced.
Consistency
is consistently doing the things that are going to get me to where I want to go.
Okay.
And not drifting from that.
Makes sense. And I mean, I'm not 100% sure about Tom Brady, but I have heard the Kobe Bryant stories of like Allen Iverson and all them inviting him to the club, and Kobe never went to the club. Kobe never went to hang out with them. He either went to the gym or went home and rested. And
I believe that.
And that is why he had his 5 rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
is a goat.
That was a sacrifice.
You know,
Yeah.
That actually leads me to my next thing. I mean, kind of the same question, but different. Can you think of, like, what are some consistent sacrifices that you make that you would say you don't see others making, even other top producers, that sets you apart?
So I talk about like sacrificing at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I like believe in.
Yeah.
Is that hopefully your life isn't always a sacrifice. If it's always a sacrifice, you're not going to be enjoying life that much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be times where you're not sacrificing things and you're living to your fullest capacity for that thing, for your life in whatever. But so sacrificing at the right time, things that I've sacrificed is summers. A lot of people love their summer. I'm totally included in that. I love summer. And we've been trained as kids that, school's drudgery and then summer and it's a party.
Summer's vacation.
Yeah. And you're just hanging out and you're having a good time all the time. And so when it comes summertime, we all want to be that way. Mm-hmm. But when it becomes summertime in door-to-door sales, that is the most important time to be knocking on doors, the most important time to be catching people at home. It's the most sun. Like the sun is out the longest, mm-hmm. right? You've got the most prime time that you'll ever get in any other time of the year. So that, and then also Saturdays. Saturdays are so crucial for door-to-door sales in particular. But I'd also say that it's important for anybody in their business. We're being videoed by these videographers. These guys got to sacrifice their Saturdays sometimes because other people want them to do stuff. And they could say, no, I just work Monday to Friday and probably have an excellent business. Mm-hmm. But if they want to get to another level, they've got to sacrifice some Saturdays.
Yep. Right.
And so summer times and Saturdays. And then I also, for me in my journey, I sacrificed like kind of to get the rocket ship off the ground. At the start of my solar career, I sacrificed time at home with my kids. And it wasn't something that I really loved. In fact, I did not like it at all. But I was a part of 2 networking groups in the morning on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. And I would leave the house before they woke up. And I would usually work till 9 or 10 at night. So I would leave at like 6 in the morning and get home at like 9 or 10 at night. To get the rocket ship off the ground, mm-hmm. I did that. So for, I don't know, about 9 months to a year, I would see my kids Monday night and I wouldn't see them again till Thursday morning. That sucks.
Yeah.
Every single week, right? It wasn't like I took weeks off on that schedule. Part of that being doing things consistently. Every single week I would do that. What did you say?
How old were they at that time?
They were, my 2 oldest, they were probably like 7 and 4 or something like that.
Yeah, so they knew you were gone 3. And stuff too, so it was definitely hard. It's not like they were babies.
Not like they were babies. Yeah. So they would miss me and I would miss them. But I knew that to get the rocket ship off the ground, I had to do something different. Mm-hmm. And that I didn't have to do this forever. But I had to give an extra effort up front. And you, I guess you don't have to, right? But to be a top performer, I wanted to get to top performance fast.
Yeah.
If you want to get to 100 installs and start getting the referrals that you get from 100 installs in solar, you can do that over 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. You can get there eventually.
You can get it in 1 year.
Or you can do it in 6 months.
Or you can, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And once you're there, then people are going to start to give you referrals. So it's just up to you how fast you want to do it. And for me, for my sales career, and particularly in my time in solar, I wanted to get the rocket ship off the ground. And so I knew I needed to sacrifice some things. And that was time at home with my kids and with my wife. Now I don't have to do that. I still sacrifice.
Of course.
Still do some Saturdays.
Yep.
Still working during the
summer
you out
there
when I don't want to be,
We live in San Diego, so it's even harder for us. Summers are great here.
Oh, so great. Beach is great. Everything's great. So that's some other sacrifice. On Saturday, when I was in my prime of knocking, I would tell my wife, listen, I want you to go to the barbecue. I want you to go to the beach. I want you to go to a friend's house. I want you to do all those things on Saturday. Don't call me and tell me you're going. Take pictures. And then when I come home, you can be like, oh, we had so much fun today. And I'll be like, oh, awesome. What did you do? And I'll ask you about it. But I need to be focused. And it helped that I have a crazy supportive wife that was all in with me too, right? Where she understands this is not forever. She understands that this is a short period of time that we're going to do this, but it's going to be worth it. And so she didn't do that. If I was out knocking and she knew I was knocking, I would say, hey, listen, if it's emergency, obviously I'm going to answer the phone. Mm-hmm. Call me anytime. Call me actually anytime, and I'm going to try to answer your phone in the first 2 or 3 rings because you're my wife. You're my most important relationship on earth. That's what I want to have, right? But just know I'm going to be working my guts out. So if it can wait, I'd appreciate it if it waited, right? If it's like we're planning for 3 weeks from now, I don't want to get a phone call at 2 p.m. on Saturday saying, hey, I was thinking about this thing in 3 weeks. Like, we can wait. That can wait. Yeah. Right? And we've had that conversation. So that was good for us to have, mm-hmm. right? Most of the time she wouldn't have thought like, oh, no worries. Like, most people like a break mm-hmm. during the middle of their workday if they're out sweating it out there. But I want to be in the zone, man. I want to be focused. I want to be in the zone. I want to be in the game. And if I can be in the game and focused, then I'm going to be a lot more successful, right? Yeah. So anyway.
Nice.
Going on tangents here.
No.
Sorry, dude.
That's it. That's what we're here for. Get the nuggets out. I'm taking notes now.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's getting good.
It's getting good.
It's getting good. So you talked about the moment of becoming the rabbit, getting the rocket ship off the ground. What was the catalyst? You just wanted to be great? Like what was the catalyst that made you make that decision?
Man, the catalyst in making the decision of being the rabbit actually wasn't for me. It was for our company. Like, we as a company needed something like that. And do I make good money because of that? Totally.
Of course.
Right? That's like the byproduct though. Like, the decision in that moment was, we as an organization need this. And I want to help out. And, when I sold satellites my first summer, I made a similar decision for my little brother. There was an incentive. If your month over month was better every single month, mm-hmm. then you could go on and you were in the top whatever percent of the company, then they were going to take you on a cruise. And if you were better month over month, then you could take a +1. Or you had to be better by 10%. So my May was my worst month, and then June was better, July was better, and August was the best. And usually that's when everybody peters out in the summer. They're like, dude, I'm done with this. I'm over this, right? But it helped me to make a decision for my brother, to take my brother on this cruise that was going back to where he served his mission for our church. And I thought that'd be a really cool thing to take your little brother on a trip to go back, to see people that he loved. So the catalyst of me getting going was that. And I think that there's still a lot of that, right? If it's all just about me and the glory for me, that lasts, but not super long. Mm-hmm. You can, after you get to a certain point, it's like, all right, I've got enough of that, but I want to do this for X, Y, and Z reason. And when you have a reason outside of yourself, usually you can go a lot further than if it's just out of what you personally want, or kind of like a selfish motive. So
I feel like I operate in the same way. I mean, you don't need too much to be content for yourself. They say the stat, like, if you make over $75,000 a year, you don't really need it. It's just stuff that you want, not need. But yeah, I find myself in the same, struggling with some motivation for myself. But if I focus on, I'm doing this for my mom, or I'm doing this for my girlfriend, or I'm doing this for my little brother, it gets me out there.
Yeah.
Also, teamwork. You brought it up. Legacy needed it.
Yeah.
That's what motivates me more than anything too. In Pioneer Town, when my office is down, like, that's when I come alive. That's when I'm like, okay,
let's go.
They need me.
Yep. Let's turn it up.
So I definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
I know we've talked before about motivation and discipline and stuff like that. And I've asked you what your why was before. Do you remember what you told me?
That you need a bag of whys?
Exactly, the bag of whys.
Because that's how I operate.
Exactly. It's a bag of whys.
Yeah.
You elaborate on that for a second?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think so. I kind of learned this in Kansas City, Missouri, my first summer of door knocking, man. It's like 95% humidity, 95 degrees outside, miserable. And lots of times people's whys is their family, which is my main why, right? Is my family. But sometimes it's like, it's hot out here, man. I want to go be with my family.
Yeah.
They're my why. Like, I just want to go see them. And I don't need to be rejected another 60 times today. And I don't need to sweat out here and lose 2 pounds of sweat. I just want to go home and get some air conditioning on and hang out with my kids and my wife. So sometimes a one why won't pull you through. So I talk about having a bag of whys. Like, what are other things that you can have that are going to motivate you? Some people, that's, for a lot of people, it's financial independence. That's amazing. It actually is a lot harder to get to there than you anticipate. They're like, oh, dude, I just got to go sell this and I'll invest it in this and boom, I'm financially independent. And that it is the formula, but it actually takes a lot more to get there than a lot of people anticipate. So that it's that, or it's your family. But sometimes like short-term motive of like, man, I've got to sell this amount of deals and then I'm going to go on a trip with my kids. But before that time, I've got to hit this amount because I need to earn enough money to, and usually you earn enough money in like 1 or 2 sales, but you put it in like, this is my number for this time. So a bag of what, like in my bag of whys is respect and honor. Like, I want to earn your respect all of the time. And I want to be an honorable person all of the time so that you see me as that. So I that's in my bag of whys. My family's in my bag of whys. I want to own 40 doors. I'm not there. I'm not even close to there, but I want to own that, right? That's part of my bag of whys. And I would say, when you're starting out, it was fun for me to have $20,000 in my bank account. Like, whoa, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then when I got $40,000 in my bank account, I was like, this feels better than 20.
Right.
And then I was like, what if I had 50 and 60 and 100? What if I had $100,000 in my bank account?
Yeah.
That became a why for a while. And then when I got there, I'm like, this feels really good. And then I had to drain that and invest it somewhere. But I know what it felt like to have $100,000 in my bank account. And now one of my bag of whys is I need to go get back to that again. Right. So I got my money working for me. It's not, I didn't lose it. I didn't gamble it away. I didn't blow it on stupid stuff. I put it in smart places and shoot, it felt really good when I had $100,000 in my bank. I need to go get back to that. Yeah. So when you have a bag of whys and it's hard, if one why isn't working for you, then you can go to another one, right? Like, oh yeah, but I got this one too. Oh yeah, but I got this one too. All right, dude, I got lots of reasons to be grinding right now. I've got lots of reasons to fight through the hard parts.
Exactly. And like you said, certain instances, no matter how big the why is, your family, my mom, whatever, it can get hot and you can, like you said, if my family's my why don't I call them? Why don't I go hang out with them? Yeah. And then you got to dig into that bag. I've been using that since we've talked. I'm like, all right, let me dig into my bag.
What bag?
What is my why today? What will get me out there? And it works. Yeah. So thank you for that.
You got it.
Tangent here. Have you sold any Everbright?
Yeah.
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 That's rocking, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about EPCs and commissions.
Yeah,
this can be off the record, but I just want to we have not. Yeah, that's been money.
Yeah.
I just went to Santa Clarita yesterday with Christian. We had 3 appointments. One of them, we'll get it, but we didn't sit it. But we closed 2 deals yesterday. Total of 14 kilowatts. Over 50,000 in commissions.
Jeez, that's crazy.
And we're saving them a boatload of money.
With battery or no battery?
They live with a shift because they live in like a duplex area, so they were like a little worried if their breaker's a little smaller. I tend to do shift so that they don't need an MPU.
Yeah.
And if I think their breaker's good and they don't need an MPU, but everybody's been insane lately. John was actually supposed to come in after you, but he's not coming in today because he's in Utah talking to everybody.
That's awesome.
He was like, I'm trying to get those EPCs higher. I'm like, what, higher than they are now?
That's
Jeez. Awesome. Yeah, talk about it. Because earlier you were like, yeah, you go in, you make $6,000 a deal. Now it's like, we're making more than them too money. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
We'll take it.
That's crazy.
Optionality, baby.
Optionality, man.
Optionality
it's
is
a smart thing.
It is a smart thing.
Smart thing.
Read about it. Work-life balance. We talked about that. We talked about some habits you have. Oh, I wanted to ask you something that I struggle with, kind of a lot, is on this climb, my climb of Goat Mountain. Sometimes I get to one of these plateaus and I look around at the people that are here with me on, on my level, and I feel that imposter syndrome. I'm like, do I deserve to be on this level right now?
Yeah,
Got here kind of fast. I see who's around me. Maybe, you fall into comparison. Maybe they're doing a little more. Maybe they're making a little more. Maybe they're married. Maybe whatever. Do you at this point in your career ever still fall into any imposter syndrome?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah?
Yeah. You got to own it though. So I similar to that idea of having $20,000 in my bank account and then $40,000 in my bank account. When you get that, again, I had to pay for, starting 12 years old, I was doing my own laundry. I was paying for most of my school clothes. If there was anything fun that I wanted to do, I had to pay with my lawn mowing money and my newspaper route money. And you know what I mean? Like so I appreciate that I had that as a kid. But similar to that idea of getting to those levels, is am I really worthy of this amount?
Yeah.
Or is that really like something that I should have or not have or whatever? So it's totally real. The thing I'll say about imposter syndrome is most people have that. Oprah Winfrey has that. Mm-hmm. And other people have that. And then they just learn to grow. They grow into it. And it's not fake it till you make it, but it's like, just be confident in who you are. Whatever level you're at. When you look around and you think, oh, dude, that guy's better than me. All these people are better or have more or whatever. It's like, I don't deserve to be here. They're looking at you thinking the exact same thing. They're looking at you like, dang, he got here fast, man. That means he's really good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not as good as him. It took me 10 years. It took him 1.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're thinking the same thing. Mm-hmm. And most people that have imposter syndrome, which I would say is most people, because very few people are born into being billionaires.
Yeah.
Right. And having that kind of mentality their whole life. So when you reach a level of success, it can feel like, dude, I don't know that I'm supposed to be here. And really you are. Like, be where you are. You deserve it. Be there. Appreciate it. Be grateful for it. Don't settle for just that. I'm a believer in Jesus. I believe Jesus loves everybody. And that the law to love is a law, and we're all supposed to love. That no one can do anything that makes them extra lovable, because Jesus already loves us. But I also believe that he doesn't want us where we're at. He wants us to be better.
Yeah.
He wants to take us to another level. And so in your life, if you get to a level, if you get to a plateau and you're like, dang, dude, I don't know that I'm supposed to be here. Like, you're not. You're supposed to be another level up. Right? And all those other people on that same level as you are also supposed to continue to try to get better. But anyway, that was a long-winded answer. That yes, I still feel imposter syndrome. There's people that I'm grateful that I don't have the most installs in solar in the industry. But so it keeps pushing me. And even if I did have the most installs, I know I got people chomping at my heels. I want to keep going better. I want to keep doing more and more and more. So,
of course,
yeah,
cool. What are some things that you could tell the younger generation that maybe that you would tell yourself back in 2005 or 2008 that would help progress you in your career?
Yeah. Hustle to every door.
You run to every door.
I walk really fast.
I've never knocked with you, but I hear the stories. I hear you briskly jog.
I sometimes jog. If there's a hill, I'll jog up. You just get up the hill faster.
Yeah.
But for young people in sales, and sometimes it's not door-to-door sales, sometimes it's over the phone, or sometimes it's a car sales guy. Be fast, be quick, try to get to the next opportunity as fast as you can. The more chances, the more swings you have at trying to hit the ball, the faster you'll get better.
Inputs.
You
did a training on inputs before.
So the more I can swing the bat, the better I'm going to be. There was a study about a professor that told people that photography, like an art class, and there was two groups of people. Two groups. One group could only take one picture and submit one picture for their whole semester. The other group could take as many pictures as they wanted, and they would also submit a picture. Okay. The people that just tried to focus in on the one and only get the one picture submitted marginal work. The people that had unlimited amounts of pictures that they could take eventually started getting good. Like, oh, there's this kind of lighting and there's these things and this angle and these whatever. And they became really, really good. It's because they took a lot of pictures. And so too often young guys prepared to prepare. I'm getting ready to get ready. Yeah. Right? Like I have to watch all of these things first before I even try it once. Not true. I have to know the perfect pitch before I get out there and knock a door. Not true. Bro, go out and stumble fast and then get to the next one and then get to the next one and then get to the next one. The more swings of the bat you can take at the start, the better it's going to be for you. So hurry up and get to the next swing.
That's really good advice. That reminds me of a story that I heard on my Instagram about a teacher that she was an art teacher, right? And she said she split her students her class into two groups. She gave one group a 50-pound block of clay and said, I would like you guys to make one perfect pot. Sit here for the entire class, make one perfect pot. She gave group B 50-pound block of clay. She said, make as many pots as you can this class. I want you to run out of clay. Make as many pots as you can. And at the end of the class, the group that made the most perfect pot was not group A. It was group B because they put in all the reps. Yeah. And throughout those reps, it wasn't the first pot that was the best. Sure. And it probably wasn't the last pot that it was the best. It was probably like the 11th, 12th, 13th, 18th, whatever. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Reps. It's all about the reps, right?
Man. Reps, yeah. And there's something to be said about also being trained properly.
Of course.
Right? Like I also learned another it was in an Asian country, I can't remember where, but the teacher, high-end music class, told the parents, do not let your kid pick up the violin like once. Maybe don't even show them. Because what happens is they would pick up the violin the wrong way and they would spend the first 2 hours correcting how to hold it. So they don't let them even pick it up once. They open it up at the class and the teacher says, this is how you hold the violin. This is how you pick it up. This is how you hold it. And then because they're trained properly, then they went and did it. But in sales, I think it's a combination of both of that, right? You've got to have good training and then you've got to be implementing the good training lots of times. Yeah. Make lots of clay pots.
Yep.
Take lots of pictures, right?
Yeah.
Knock on lots of doors. Even if you don't really think you have a pitch, start to talk to people, start to get your tongue out, your tongue going around the thing, not necessarily tongue out. Like I was a Maori warrior, I can do a pukana. Not that tongue, right? But, more of the just getting your tongue going.
Yeah.
And you'll learn what to say. You'll learn how people react to you and you can just start talking, you get better in that regard. So talk to renters if you're a brand new rep too. They're the nicest.
They are so nice. If you want to build some confidence, renters will always let you in.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that. Yeah. Perfect. Just got to talk to my home, like the landlord. Oh.
Do you know him? No.
Yeah. But you'll get some practice in. So.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah. I think, was it you? Somebody told me to get that advice. If you're having a bad day, you have like 10 no's in a row or whatever, like go to a door that says it's a renter and just get a good conversation.
Get a good conversation in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the momentum up.
Yep.
We've talked about this before. You're you've had 2 or 3 or 5 bonkers weeks in your career that have elevated your legendary status.
Yeah.
What, even if maybe it's not one of those weeks, but what moment in your career would you say you're the proudest of?
I wrote in my journal about when I won the Tesla. We did a competition for a Tesla Legacy. The winner got a Tesla. When I won that, so I went into it. It was like a 2-month-long competition. Okay, so and you had to, August it was like pool play, like soccer. You had to get out of your pool to get into basically like the March Madness bracket. Mm-hmm. And then September was like March Madness bracket. And you were going head to head with people. And it wasn't like you could slack to get to the next round because I knew if I won that competition, I was the best, at least the best in my company, because everyone was going to try to win a Tesla. It's not like somebody's going to be like, I don't really want to try this time. Yeah, right, dude. Of course, yeah. Everybody wanted to win the Tesla, right? And so I was like, so it was awesome to win the Tesla, but it was even more awesome to be the best. And that's what I wanted to be, right? I want to be, I'm a champion, man. Like that's a part of my core. And I want to be a champion dad and a champion, husband and a champion member of my church and a champion friend and a champion son and a champion sales guy and a champion leader and a champion trainer. And, that's part of who I am. And I want to be that all the time in every area. And I thought, if I can win this, I'm the champion in my company at selling. And so the last week, it took some time to get up to the last week. There was some strategy and there was, just hustle, right? Pure hustle. That last week, I sold 38 deals, all self-gen. No setters, no mentees, all self-gen. I did 10 a Saturday. Then they didn't count Sunday, so I didn't sell any on Sunday. Actually, didn't sell any on Monday either, but then I was selling 3, 4, 5 throughout the week each day. And then the last Saturday, I got 16 in a day. And I went into it that night before. I'd written out all this list, and I told my team, I think I'm going to get 15 sales today. And I actually should have got 17. There was a guy that passed credit that I didn't get the thing that said he passed credit. And he's like, dude, I'm in. I'm ready. Let's go. Send me the information. But I didn't want to sell a bad account because you could only have a certain amount of bad accounts. And he told me he got the email, but I didn't get the email. I got the email Monday at like 11:30 before the results were out. And I was like, dude, if I lose by 1, I'm going to be so mad. I just got it at the wrong time. So it should have been 17 self-gens in a day. But that week, man, I won. I did 38. The next closest person did 34.
38 self-gens.
In a day.
Self-gens.
Yeah, or over that week. And that was amazing. I was the best. I was the best in my company. I won, and I did 16 in a day. That had never been done before. The 10 in a day had never been done before. I still don't know anybody that's done 16 self-gens in a day. I'm pretty sure I know one guy that did 10 sales in a day, but I don't think it was all self-gens. So I did this year. I did 15 self-gens in a day. So that was also pretty sweet.
That was at the end of NEM2, I remember.
Yeah, and an M2, and then I've done other times where I've done 10. So I like it also in my track record that it's not just a fluke, like a one-time thing, right? I did 22 in a day when I had a group of setters. So 46 in a week, 22 in a day. That's a pretty good day and week, right? And so anyway, that first time, like winning that competition for me was really, it cemented that I can do this.
Do you remember who you were going up against?
Yeah, Dan, Mitch, Jed. Those were
where are they?
The top guys.
Are they still around in the industry?
Yeah, they're still selling solar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. And they're all mad that I have a Tesla that they don't have.
Is it that Tesla?
It's that Tesla.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Let's see what else I got in here.
And I want to can I just address one thing you said, you talked about earlier? So
please.
I'm grateful to you for calling me a goat or the goat. I don't necessarily think of myself as the goat. There's guys that have more sales than me. So I'm not the number one sales guy in pure number of sales. There are other guys that have bigger teams than I have. So I'm not the number one guy that has the biggest team, right? But I want to always earn the thought that you think I'm the GOAT. I want my kids to think I'm the greatest dad of all time. I want my friends to think that guy is one of the greatest friends I've ever had. And I want to be the greatest son. And all those things where I want to be a champion that I listed off earlier, I want to earn the GOAT status in those people's minds that I'm the GOAT, whether I'm actually the GOAT or not. Now, I think you add in all the things that I've got, the training, the team building, the sales, all that. Maybe I am the GOAT. I don't know. But I learned from somebody one time that he was like, people are going to tell you you're good. I was a bishop at church, and they were like, you're a young bishop. So people are going to say, hey, you're really awesome. You're amazing to be this young and to do that. And he said, you can accept the compliments because that's a good thing to do. You're not like, no, that's not, I won't accept your graciousness, right?
Yeah.
That's not a nice thing to do. But don't breathe it in too much, right? Don't get your head too big around the idea that you're all that in a bag of chips, right? I'm still trying to get better. I'm still trying to improve. I want to, like I said, I want to earn that to you, I'm the GOAT. Because if I don't earn that every day, then somebody else is going to come in and earn that. You know what I mean?
Very
so
true.
Anyway, I'm grateful that you call me that.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
I don't know that I am that or not, but I'll accept that, and then I'm going to work my butt off to always have you think that. So
you are the GOAT, man. And I will say that it's not just me, a plethora of people in the industry and call you the GOAT. And it is because of the installs and the sales, but we know you don't have the most installs. We know you don't have the most sales. We know you don't have the biggest team, but you are great at all aspects. You're the perfect man. You are. I know you're not. I know you're going to tell me you're not. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect.
Long way from that.
But you're such a role model to everyone as a father, as a husband, as a salesman, as a trainer, as a leader. You check the boxes across the board because there are, I know that there's people with more installs, but I also know that they don't have as many friends, or there's people out there that sell a bunch and then they cheat on their wives, or you know what I mean? Yeah. There's people that run the biggest team, but they don't have kids because they don't have time to. They went all in on that, and you live our motto of you can have it all. You have it all.
Yeah,
and that's why you're the GOAT, man.
Yep,
you are.
Appreciate that.
But
do my best.
Part of my thing is I do want to ask everybody that comes on this podcast, who do you think that the GOAT of your industry is?
Ooh, dude, that's a great question. So if Luke Toon decided to be all in on sales, he would be the top sales guy in any company, and he would crush everybody in sales. So if you wanted the GOAT in sales, if Luke Toon decided to put that hat on, and it wouldn't take him that long. He's so good. So
shout out Luke.
Shout out to Luke Toon. You want to talk about, and I haven't been in the inner workings of every CEO in solar, but Doug Robinson's the GOAT of CEOs and solars. Did I just say that? He's the CEO of any solar company that I know. Yeah. Like the GOAT of any CEO. Man, that's really, actually you can use this, whatever. He is the GOAT of CEOs in solar. Did I get it that time?
Nailed it.
He looks at things so differently. Doug and I are about a month apart in age. He's a month older than me. And for the longest time, we were around, he started in 2003, I started in 2005, and I would always be like, man, I'm just as good as Doug. He just started earlier than me. And the longer I've been in this, I've realized I'm not just as good as Doug. He's way better than me. He understands things different. He can look at something really quickly and know exactly what it needs to do or be done or any of those things and how to move the needle. He's amazing. So those two guys would be in the GOAT status for me.
Love that.
Yep.
I'm trying to get Luke on and maybe Doug one day. I know you're both busy, but we'll get you on here. What is do you even like, if you have one, what is like a personal mantra for Ashton Buswell?
Our mission statement, our company mission statement, is real similar to the personal mantra, but I mentioned it before. Like, I'm a champion. I haven't done a lot of breathwork classes. I'm not an expert in breathwork, but the very first time I did a breathwork class, I was like all in. They were like, focus, be all in.
Was that at Breathe Degrees?
At Breathe Degrees.
I was there.
Shout out to Breathe Degrees. And they were doing this guided thing. And essentially you're trying to clear your mind and trying to whatever. We got the deepest part of it. Mm-hmm. My mind was clear, and all that came in my mind was champion, champion, champion. And I was like, dude, that's who I am. Like, that's who I am. And so a mantra of mine is to be a champion every day. And if you called me on the phone, I usually answer the phone something like this. Hey man, how's it going, dude? Good, dude. Are you winning today? Are you winning? And lots of times you're like, are you what? I'm like, are you winning? Like, I think so. I don't know. Some people will answer the phone like, nah, dude, horrible day, not winning. Others are gonna be like, it's like 50-50, right? And I'm winning every day. I'm winning every minute. And I'm going, even though if I have an L, if I take a loss, it's actually just a learn. Mm-hmm. That means I'm winning. Mm-hmm. I'm getting better. I just learned how not to do something. Right? Exactly. So anyway, a mantra of mine is winning, champion. I'm a champion. So
you are a champion, my friend. What's next for Ashton? You've done a lot. The accolades, the achievements have built up.
Yeah.
You're sitting at the peak of Goat Mountain, looking down at all of us trying to climb up. What is next for you?
So you kind of referenced like that thought of being on top of my game. I want to help Legacy like continue to crush it. Mm-hmm. And I also want to help more people to have a positive, good impact on the world. And so I have non-negotiables around different aspects of my life, with my relationships, with my health. Yeah. Like, these are things that have to happen, no questions asked. And I thought recently I need to create a non-negotiable around impact, that I want to have an impact on the world. And I think one of them is in like a training course or training platform or something, particularly for new sales guys that are just getting started, because all the sales trainers out there will teach you how to overcome objections. All of them will tell you it's a numbers game. But if you don't have the guts and the courage to get in the game, then how are you going to even play the game, right? So I think I'm going to do some sort of training course around getting in the game or getting a rocket ship off the ground or something. I don't know what to call it yet. Maybe you can help me out with that. But giving more of, if I can impact somebody, if I can impact a guy to have courage to ask a girl out on a date that becomes his wife, man, that's a positive thing. Yeah. Right? That's a good impact that I've had. If I can influence someone to have financial prosperity because they stayed in the game long enough, then that's going to be amazing impact. So what's next for me is figuring out how to have an impact on a bigger stage or in a bigger way. That's what's next for me.
Heck yeah, man. I know you'll do it. We'll talk about, I'm good at thinking about names for courses. But yeah, so you're talking more about like not even just objections or you know, your standard sales stuff. You want to talk about like mentality on how to get into sales, or not even get into sales, just on how to be a better man.
So it'll be like there will be principles like that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk about being a good human, and that I'm a good human. Mm-hmm. I'll talk about like, you know, some core things that I believe in. But I think it's going to be like tailored to people that are within their first year of sales. Like, they've started the journey, but they don't really know where to go, or they may not have the best training. Could be a car sales guy. I mean, I imagine it'll be a lot of solar guys that will like be a part of it, right? Yeah. But car sales guys and pest control guys and anything that can be sold, right? If somebody if they're new to sales, I think I've got some really good things to help them with. What better than somebody that's knocked over 200,000 doors and got a lot of no's to teach you that no is just a word. No just means not yet. Keep going.
Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of the thought process.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I know you got a lot ahead of you. You're a young whippersnapper still. But at the end of your career, when we finally hang that Ashton jersey in the rafters at the Jazz Stadium, what do you want your legacy to be known as?
Good question. I want to be known as somebody that loved like Jesus did.
That's powerful.
That's it. That's what I want to be known as. And that, to some people, will look like just a good human being because they don't believe in Jesus. And that's okay if they don't believe in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. You can believe in Allah or Buddha or anybody else that you know. But somebody that loved like Jesus loved. Jesus was a figure, and even people that are Muslim believe that he was a good man. Mm-hmm. I want to love like Jesus. So if it was said on my tombstone, this man loved like Jesus, that would be enough.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for asking that.
You are a very loving man. I got one more question for you. So, Ev, to me and to everybody out here listening, I want to do something at the end of the podcast called GOAT Goals or GOAT Challenge. It's called a GOAT Challenge. Okay? Because this podcast is for top producer or for people that want to be top producers, people that want to advance to be the 1% of the 1%. That is what this is all about. This is why I have you on.
Yeah.
So what is a good goal? We're nearing the end of summer here. It's competition season for us. So maybe give me like a 30-day goal for me and the listeners out there.
So here's a challenge.
Yep.
See how fast you can get to 10 no's every day. So again, some people in their careers, in their job, 10 no's is a ton. Mm-hmm. And in other people, it's like, dude, I can do that in an hour.
Yeah.
Why I talk about how fast you can get there. If you're quickly getting to 10 no's, guess what's going to be in those 10 no's more than one day?
Some yeses.
Some yeses. Right? And lots of people they think about, I'm just trying to get to the yeses. I'm actually trying to get to the no's. If you make the no's like a good goal, like, dude, this is sick. I've got 20 no's today.
Yeah.
Like it flips because usually people are like, no is equals bad. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, no, I don't want to get another no. Well, you're going to get lots of no's along the way. You might as well make it something that's enjoyable. You might as well make it something that you want to get. So go hustle and get 10 no's.
I like that.
As fast as you can.
For you pest guys, get 100.
Yeah. Pest guys get 100. Solar guys get 20 no's, right? Depends on how saturated your market is, how quickly people give you no's. But obviously you're trying to get yeses. So if you knock on somebody's door and they're starting to give you a yes, and you're like, dang it, Ashton told me to get a fast no. This is going to take a lot longer, right? Instead of being 30 minutes, it's going to be an hour and a half because this guy wants to talk.
Yeah.
Talk to the dude.
Of course.
But the idea behind it is that if you can make no fun,
mm-hmm.
and if you can make no a race to no, mm-hmm. you're going to race to lots of yeses, but make the no's. So for 30 days, see how fast you can get to 10 no's.
I will add that to my tracker. I have yet to. I put doors, I put conversations, leads, the whole nine. You guys have all seen stuff like that. We're all adding no's to our stat trackers.
Yeah. How fast you can get.
How fast, too.
Took me an hour and 30 minutes. Took me 4 hours. Took me, right? That means you're putting in the work.
Cool. Hey, man. I appreciate having you on.
Thanks for having me, dude.
It was awesome.
This was fun.
It was real fun. The first ever Goat Mountain.
Goat Mountain. Here we go.
It's poetry.